nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide at all.
Welcome, everyone, to Somewhere in the Livestream Redux, Episode 3. I am your host, Ryan Sprague, and with me in the chat, as always, is our amazing administrator and moderator, Suzanne. So please be sure to say hello to you. She'll be the one putting up all your messages tonight and featuring all of your super chats, super stickers, your questions, and links to things we'll be talking about, all that good stuff. She is on top of it. So a special thanks to her as always. And it has been a week, guys. It has been a week. We are now back to our normal day and time, Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. Just so you know, it's after dinner, having a few glasses of wine over there in the UK and Europe, or if you're on the East Coast, you may just be cooking dinner. So you get to listen to some UFO news while you're doing that. Or if you are West Coasters, I'm sorry. You're just going to have to deal with it. I know it's the middle of the day for you there. You're probably mowing the lawn or something, but pop us in your headphones and follow along with us. We have some awesome news stories for you guys. But first, on a personal note, I'm still here in Syracuse, New York. As you can see, I've kind of transitioned my father's man cave into a UFO cave. Slowly but surely, I've got my books in the background there, a couple of really old UFO magazines, and our good friend Whitley Strieber's Communion Alien there in the back, which I had custom made actually by a special effects artist in Hollywood, who makes these busts. As you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, I threw a Detroit Lions hat on him. I know, maybe a little disrespectful. I don't know whether that's disrespectful to Whitley Strieber or the Detroit Lions. That is yet to be decided. But yeah, I do want to say hello to everyone in the chat. We've got some new people, which is awesome. We also have some regulars. So a big hello to the biologist. Ian Smith is here. Tad is here. Carolina Garcia is here. Hello, Android Paranormal. Scape VFX. Gareth is here. Donnie is here. Andres is here. But just going through the list, guys. J. Allen Heineken, as always. Love it. Who am I forgetting? Still going down. Pat Gallagher is here joining us from Ireland. Greetings to the Sits fam, he says. Love it. Rainy here in PNW. J. Allen Heineken. When is it not rainy in PNW? We have Kyriakos is here as well. First question, where can I get an awesome alien head prop to like that one? Good question. I will have to figure out. I don't remember if the special effects artist is doing commissions right now, but I did have this specially made. But he does have a website. I will find it. I'll find it and I'll put a link in the show notes retrospectively. So be on the lookout for that. Cheers to you guys. I am drinking tonight a beer called Holiday Ale. I don't know why. It's like Christmas in June for me. I love seasonal beers, whether it's pumpkin beer during the fall or, Christmassy beer with cinnamon and nutmeg and stuff like that. I just happen to find it in my local grocery store here. So I am doing that tonight because we have a lot to talk about. A lot. All good from what I can tell from my list here. So we'll see. But before we do any of that, I do want to give a huge shout out and congratulations to my cousin Emily, who had a gender reveal party today for her first child, and she is having a baby boy. I doubt she's watching this, but if her or any of her family happen to be, congratulations to Emily and her husband on their upcoming first baby. Congratulations, guys. I hope he's into aliens. I'll get him. I will get him into aliens, guys. In other news, let me see here. Feedback. So last week on the Somewhere in the Skies podcast, we had our first witness accounts episode in a very long time. And it did not disappoint. We had some awesome stories. The one that really seemed to catch people's attention, and I'm getting a ton of feedback on, was the sort of cover image and title of the Witness Accounts episode, which was a Marine in the object under the tarp. So this story came to me maybe a couple weeks ago. a former Marine reached out to me through email and said, I got an interesting story that I think you'll want to hear. And he proceeded to give me an audio of what happened. And when he was in California working at a base out there, he witnessed something under a tarp that he could not identify, and neither could the other people that were in the hangar at the time who also took a peek under this tarp. A lot of people have been asking me, will there be a follow-up? Yes. I am working directly with this Marine right now on a follow-up article that I will be publishing where we dig deeper into what it might have been, where this happened, were there other witnesses willing to come forward? So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Can't wait. I'm really excited for that. But if you have a witness account that you want to share on the show, if you've ever seen a UFO, had a sighting, close encounter, anything like that, come on the show. Be a part of our witness account series. What you can do is send me an email so we can discuss further. My email should be in the show notes below. But if not, you can also DM me on any of our socials and we'll take it from there. I want to hear from you. Witness accounts are for you, the listeners, where you take the front seat and tell your UFO stories. And these are some of our favorite episodes of the podcast. So look, the more stories we hear, the more normal this topic becomes, the more UFOs go mainstream, and the more all of us don't look like weirdos anymore. Although I think we're already there. I think we're there. So yeah, that's it for news, guys. The super chat and super stickers are open. So if you want to help out the show, that is a wonderful way to do it directly, immediately. You can put questions in the super chat. I will get to those at the end. We will be sure to star those. There is a QR code if you're watching this on YouTube on the screen right now where you can support us directly on PayPal. If you don't want to join Patreon, the perks of Patreon is you get early access to all the Somewhere in the Skies episodes. You get bonus episodes. You get priority to ask me and our guests listener questions. So many more rewards, so many different tiers. And you can go over to patreon.com/Somewhere Skies to learn more about that. Or if you just simply want to do a one-time donation to help us out, that QR code you could scan right now on your screen, or just go to the PayPal email in the show notes. Suzanne can throw that up at some point as well. But enough about money. Enough about money. Let's get to this week's UFO news. And we're going to start with a really, really fun story. So this story comes to us from MSN.com, actually. And I don't know if you guys happen to catch this one, but it's fun. I'll say that it's fun. So a North Carolina man by the name of Justin Klontz, who works at Glamping Collective in Haywood County, North Carolina, as I already stated, couldn't believe his eyes when he spotted what he described as a once-in-a-lifetime find while on the job. So if you are watching this right now, you're seeing this very strange, I don't even know how to describe it, furry metal piece of something that he found there. But we actually have a really cool clip from a news station that actually interviewed him about this. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you guys so we have a fuller context of where this happened, what could this object be, and what is Justin and everyone else, what are they making of it? And what comes next for the strange furry UFO metal object found in North Carolina? So I will go ahead and play that for you, and we'll talk a little bit more on the other side.
I'm just shocked as to what it was.
Kind of hard not to be, especially when you find something like this along a very remote Canton trail.
Once in a lifetime. You know, it don't happen every day.
But it did happen to Justin Klontz when he and a coworker found it. Burnt carbon fiber dotting the surface, heavy-duty pieces and plates of metal, held together with what look like thick bolts. Justin was working his job doing grounds maintenance at Glamping Collective in Haywood County. He walked about half a mile down this trail when his friend pointed it out.
We don't know what it is, so we just know that it's not from up here.
I just want to give you an idea of how big this object is. I stand at about 5'10", and you can see this thing comes past my waist. It's heavy duty. You can see all the reinforcements, the bolts, the carbon fiber. And then check this out. Look how thick this material is through the middle, almost an inch thick. The object's weight so heavy that Justin had to tow the thing.
I just tied a rope to it and drug it out with the lawnmower. That's just a 1 in a million chance, that it lands. Especially if it landed somewhere off the trail in the woods, you'd never found it, but it just happened to land on the trail.
So what is it, and how did it even get here?
I looked up in the trees and stuff, and it just landed perfectly in the trail and then through an opening in the woods.
So none of the trees or leaves around it looked like they had caught fire or anything like that?
No.
A piece of debris this big, you'd figure someone would have at least heard it land. There's going to be some kind of a sound, you would assume.
Not up here. Once you get so far in that trail, you don't really hear nothing in the woods.
Glamping Collective's owner plans on reaching out to aerospace experts to figure out what this thing is and where it came from. Until then, this just remains a mystery in the mountains.
A mystery in the mountains. What is it? Susanna and I are in our private chat being like, what the hell is this thing? And so are you guys. And so is Justin. And he's actually going to get this thing analyzed by aerospace experts. He believes this thing possibly came from the sky. Sure as hell looks like it. Someone in the chat said, I think it was J. Allen Heineken, said, it's probably something that fell off a Boeing aircraft. That would not surprise me. It would not surprise me one bit. I actually took a Boeing on my way from Scotland to New York City recently. That was scary, guys. That was scary. Let's see. Ted says North Carolina is always cropping up in UFO and paranormal reports. That is so true, Tad. Suzanne and I were putting your same comment up at the same time. That is so true. North Carolina is definitely a haven for such weird things. So I do wonder, was this what is this? Was this placed here? Do you guys remember that whole like monolith phenomenon that was happening where those big like steel things were just showing up all over the world, actually? And it was apparently part of some sort of art social experiment. At least last time I checked, that's what it was. Could this be just someone pulling someone's leg, seeing, what could it have been? Or, has this thing been there for a very, 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 very long time and was just recently dug up or something? I don't know. But Justin is going to try to find out. And no matter what it is or isn't, it is truly mysterious. I can't even begin to wonder what something like that could have been used for. But it does look man-made. Let's be completely honest. When you're dealing with conventional bolts and whatever that material is that kind of is stitched around it, I don't know. It looks like a thing found in Saskatchewan recently. All work and low pay says. Interesting. Maybe they're connected. Maybe there's material like this on one certain object that is falling apart in space or in our outer atmosphere and falling all over the place. I don't know. Crazy. Cool story. I thought we would start with a fun, light story. I'm going to go up into the chat and just see what you guys are saying. Didn't a guy find something like that in Canada? Yes. Seems like space debris, but I think the is human-made satellite or something. That could be very possible. That was kind of what I was going for, Android. Maybe it's part of some SpaceX thing. I don't know. Hides in long grass. If the mystery in the mountains doesn't come with banjo music, I'll keep listening. There we go. I love it. Carolina says, well, Vinny is flying across the Atlantic tonight on a Boeing to North Carolina, so don't scare me, Carolina. I'm so sorry. I have my fingers crossed for our dear, dear buddy Vinny, who actually is going to be featured later in this episode. So a special shout out to Vinny over at Disclosure Team, and to you as well, Carolina. Thank you so much for being here. And a safe travels to our boy Vinny. Cool. Let's move, guys, to our next story. What do we got? Ooh, let's go. Who remembers the Baltic Sea anomaly? This weird Millennium Falcon shaped thing that was found at the seabed in the Baltic Sea. Discovered by divers. I have more information here. Let me read this. And we got a lot of reading to do on this one, guys, so bear with me, but all with good reason. We have some updates on the Baltic Sea anomaly. So the object at the bottom of the Baltic Sea is thought to be over 140,000 years old and formed out of straight and angular pieces of metal. Allegedly. Divers who had set out to explore a shipwreck first discovered the object, which has for years left people puzzled as to what it is or how it got there. And in 2011, Swedish explorers Peter Lindberg and Dennis Osberg were in the northern Baltic Sea looking for treasure when their sonar radars detected the 70-foot-long Millennium Falcon-looking piece in the canyon of an underwater mountain in the Gulf of Bothnia. Asperg and Lindbergh wanted to look into the object some more and contacted geologists and marine biologists who were all equally puzzled by the anomaly. Adding to the mystery of the structure, the explorers said they appeared to be a long, quote, stair-like formation leading to a dark hole and another unknown object around 200 meters away. I am getting like echoes of The Abyss right now, and it's giving me chills. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie The Abyss, or even the movie Sphere. Both have kind of similar feels to them when it comes to strange spherical objects that have been found in our oceans or in space. But man, a stairway into a dark hole. No, thank you. I don't care. I don't care if you go down there, pilots, or, get that thing going and shoot it up into space. I don't care if there's $1 billion in treasure inside that thing. I am not going into something and not knowing what's in there. So kudos to these divers for doing this. It prompted wide speculation, with some guessing it could be the remains of the lost underwater city of Atlantis. I actually mistyped this in my notes and I put the underwater city of Atlanta. Oops. Hotlanta, baby. There in the Baltic Sea. Underwater city of Atlantis. Or it could be a rogue member of an alien UFO fleet that crashed on the seabed. Or some kind of anti-submarine device left over from the Second World War. Another strange feature is that electrical and satellite equipment reportedly cuts out when in close proximity to the object, according to OceanX diver Stefan Holgerborn. What? Okay, so whatever this thing is, it clearly has some sort of electromagnetic ability or something that messes with electrical instruments, which is what we hear during many close encounter cases with UFOs with pilots in airplanes or even submarines underwater. So there you go, guys. USOs, baby, back in the news. We're going to be talking a lot about that later in the show. So I hope you're ready to go underwater, somewhere in the water with me. But let's continue with the story. So Volker Burchett, a Stockholm University geologist and marine archaeologist, would reportedly study some of the samples collected by the team. And okay, let's get real now. Let's get real. And he said, quote, what has been generously ignored by the OceanX team is that most of the samples they have brought up from the sea bottom are granites and sandstones. I was surprised when I researched the material. I found a great black stone that could be a volcanic rock. My hypothesis is that this structure was formed during the Ice Age many, many years ago. A natural geological formation can't be ruled out. I agree the finding looks weird since it's completely circular, but nature has produced stranger things than that. So research is also being undertaken by Stockholm University, and that later found that the Baltic Sea anomaly, ready? The Baltic Sea anomaly is the remains of a process of glacial movements that took place in that area of the ocean during the Ice Age period, and could account for how the object reached its location. So original diver Peter Lindbergh, he said this at the time, quote, "I have been the biggest skeptic. I was kind of prepared for finding just stone. But for me, it has been an amazing experience. I think it is very odd in its shape. It is tough to give an explanation as to what it might be exactly, since different scientists have made different theories. But whatever it is something we do not usually find in nature, sitting in the dark, cold depths of the Baltic Sea." So, what do you guys think? Do you agree that this was a stone structure that was moved during the Ice Age when the glaciers were sort of crashing together and all that good stuff? Or is this an electromagnetic UFO that has just been buried there for a very long time? It's an explanation. Nothing is for sure, but I do find it interesting. Android says way too many strange lines and parallel lines to be natural. I do agree. This looks extremely, extremely structured and man-made, in my opinion. Man-made. I use that term very loosely. What else are you saying? Carolina says, looks like the top of a column. What if there's a whole new world down there? What if? I love that idea, Carolina. So, you know, there's all these images of like the pyramids, right? In Egypt, or let's say pyramids all across the world, where we're only seeing a portion of it. You know, that like meme with a glacier and then the many layers underneath it. I think that's the same with the pyramids. We know there are corridors and things and tombs and everything under these pyramids, but what if it just keeps going lower and lower and lower? What could be down there? Could this be merely the top of something buried even deeper in our ocean, under the ocean bed? And what if it's ready to all come to the surface? I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. Too scary. Too scary. But we've only just begun with the USOs, guys. Get ready. Get ready. Hello to everyone new in the chat. I see Simon is here. Hello. Just seeing if there's anyone else new that I missed. Bolanis, one is here. Let me see. There was one other one. Hides in Long Grass is here. Chinger, I hope I'm saying that right, is here. Hello, guys. Hello to Tets. We have Simon as well. And hello to everyone. I see we have some starred stuff. I'm going to go look at that in just a little bit, guys. But let's move on to our next story. Out of Japan again. We're going back to Japan. This is week 3, I think, of Japan and UFOs. Never thought I'd see the day. That's pretty darn cool. So this is a really cool story. Japan lawmakers to create group for government probes into UFOs. This story comes to us from the Japan Times. And let me go ahead and read this. Japanese lawmakers met last Tuesday to create a nonpartisan group that will ask the government to establish an organization for investigating UFOs. Sound familiar? The lawmaker group will be chaired by Yasukusa Hamada, parliamentary affairs leader of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party, and former Environment Minister Shinhiro Koizumi, also from the LDP, will serve as Secretary General. The group will hold its founding general meeting on June 6th, after Tuesday's preparatory meeting, which was held in Parliament. The lawmaker group will urge the government to gather and analyze info on UAP and pursue cooperation with Washington by forming a counterpart organization. Interesting. U.S. is getting their hands into this already. Go figure. In its founding statement, the group said that if UFOs or UAP, which have been witnessed many times over Japanese territory, are cutting-edge secret weapons or unmanned spy drones from any other countries, they would present a major security threat to Japan. The group is asking members of parliament from all parties to join. There we go, guys. The ball is rolling. Japan is in the UFO game now. It sounds like they're creating something like Arrow, where national security comes before everything, which it should. um, that being said, will the Japanese public get any information out of this group? Who knows? Will the United States get what they want out of the Japanese UFO organization? Probably. So, yeah, this is interesting. This is interesting. We're seeing more and more governments around the world taking the topic of UFOs very seriously. Again, mostly from a national security standpoint, but you look at Sky Canada in Sky Project Canada, whatever it's called, looking at it scientifically. What can we try to, I don't want to say reverse engineer, but what can we take from the technology being displayed in some of these aerial phenomena? How can that benefit us? Unfortunately, probably militarily, but also scientifically, theoretically. It's fascinating. So maybe Japan will take Canada's lead and at least look at this from a scientific perspective as well, rather than just national security. We shall see. Let me go up here for just a minute to check your star things, just in case that's to do with what we're talking about now. Let's see. All Things Unexplained says, this jives with the recent Reddit whistleblower disclosure, which we are covering tonight. There you go, guys. Go check out All Things Unexplained tonight, and you'll learn more. We'll see. We'll see what connections can be made between what Japan is doing and this whistleblower disclosure that All Things Unexplained will be talking about. Special shout out to them. Go subscribe. Go listen. All that good stuff. Don't hit your mic when you get excited, because it'll make a loud sound like that. All Work Lopez says, governments of the world are gearing up for disclosure. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This can't be a bad thing. Same could be said for Arrow. At the end of the day, even if we're not getting UFO disclosure, even if we're not getting the answers we want, they are making our skies safer. And you can't deny that everyone's okay with that. I'm okay doing this live stream right now and not being in fear, looking out the window that a Russian spy drone or plane is going to be looking in on me, or that missiles are going to be dropped. So, end of the day, any organization looking into UAP is going to hopefully help us, whether it's through national security or other things. Even if we're not getting the grand disclosure we all hope for, or the answers we want, we might just get the answers we need. I don't know. Simon says, I can almost imagine the Japanese retrofitting UFOs for their own defense, similar to USA Area 51. Yeah, it's very possible. It is very, very possible. I mean, what's going on at Area 51 right now? I'm sure since a lot of, since espionage has really ramped up, why was Area 51 created in the first place? To create a spy plane. Espionage. The entire reason for Area 51's existence that we know of officially is for the U-2 spy plane. What happened after that when it comes to, moving up to the B-2 bomber and all that good stuff, Oxcart, and then up to the possible reverse engineering of 9 flying saucers as claimed by Bob Lazar. We just don't know. Will we ever know? I don't know, but maybe this is Japanese's opportunity. I said it like it's a person. Opportunity to create a top secret military installation like Area 51. I don't know. All right. Let's go back to the live chat. Hello, guys. Dalen is here. Welcome, Dalen. Oh, so good to have you back. Everyone says hello. Special shout out to Kelly for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you so much. If you want to become a YouTube member, guys, you get the same exact perks as Patreon. Early access to episodes, you get bonus episodes, and you also get priority to ask our guests listener questions. So you can become a member right here on YouTube as well. There should be buttons for that somewhere. I'm not sure where, but they're there. They're there if you want to become a YouTube member. So thank you, Kelly. thank you. I truly, truly do appreciate that. Have I missed anything else? I did see a super. Did I see one? No, I did not. Okay. It was Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super chat and super stickers are open, guys. Once again, if you do want to help out the show, that is a great way to do it. Or there is a PayPal QR code on your screen you can scan right now. Everything's in the show notes too. Every penny goes back into making the show bigger and better. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. All right, let's move to our next UFO story. And before we do that, we're going to take a commercial break, guys, because I need to take a sip of my holiday beer. Suzanne also needs to take a sip of whatever she's drinking. Tea, I think I saw. Maybe. She's nodding. Okay. Sure, Suzanne. I'm sure it's just tea. We'll see. But yeah, guys, we're going to take just a quick break, and we're going to come back on the other side with our major stories of the week. So stick with us, and I will see you in just a minute. Stay tuned. The Somewhere in the Skies podcast is free to listen to every week, but if you would like to help support the show, we have a very active Patreon page where you give what you think the show is worth. In return, you'll get early access to the main show, bonus episodes, and priority to ask our guests your listener questions. Your support truly makes the show continue and grow. So, to learn more and to join, visit patreon.com/Somewhere Skies. All right, and we are back, guys, with Somewhere in the live stream, and you are getting a special peek at what our next story is going to be about. If you are just joining us, this is a live stream we do every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard here on the Ryan Sprague / Somewhere in the Skies YouTube channel, where we discuss all the latest UFO news and take your listener and viewer questions. So we are on the second half of the show tonight, where we have some awesome stories and some awesome videos to share with you guys. So let's start with this one. We are returning to USOs once again, and we are talking about the Navy Rear Admiral who spoke out about UAP sightings in a new paper. And this story comes to us from NBC News, which is pretty cool. So a new paper referencing video captured by Customs and Border Patrol of UAP over the ocean near Puerto Rico in 2013 claims that the U.S. government is not sharing all it knows about all-domain anomalous phenomena. NBC's Gotti Schwartz talks with the paper's author, oceanographer, Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, about why he's speaking out. So we're going to go ahead and watch a clip from that NBC interview that Gotti Schwartz did. Hopefully we won't get a copyright strike, but it's an awesome clip with Tim. So I do want you guys to see that. And we will talk a little bit more about USOs on the other side. So give this a look.
In your opinion, are there things moving around in our oceans in ways that we cannot explain with conventional science? And do you have any examples?
So I know of eyewitness accounts from submarine officers, as well as intelligence specialists who've seen classified video of these types of objects moving in ways we really couldn't do ourselves. And with technology, we are unable to reproduce. I was also the chief meteorologist in the Navy, and safety of flight was my job. So I wasn't able to speak about it because I knew obviously it was compartmented in some special access program. And that's why when my boss sent it out, they wiped it all from everybody's computer. I'm coming out now to speak about this because this is a major safety concern. We're not able to understand and track what's in our airspace and water space.
I know you worked on a lot of classified projects. I think at one point you were working on classified projects involving unmanned drones, sensors, the types of stuff that may or may not be adversarial. So without getting into the specifics, because I know your classification, we can't talk about that stuff, but do you think that there's a chance that some of what we are seeing is adversarial, is from another country that has some sort of technological advantage that we just don't understand at this point?
No, I don't think so. I've been read into all the threats. I had a high clearance, top secret Special Compartment of Information. And I know that our adversaries don't have technologies like these. If they did, we should be worried. But we should be equally worried because they're being operated by entities we don't even understand.
Do they look like they're under intelligent control?
Absolutely, they are. So this is a national or global security concern. And the reason I wrote about the aspect in the oceans is that's my background. I'm an expert in it. And we'll never have a complete understanding of these phenomena unless we look at the ocean too.
You also wrote that we know more about Mars, the surface of the moon, than we do about our own ocean. You have a science background.
There's a number of possibilities. I don't know, and most of the intelligence community does not know. But it could either be from elsewhere in the universe. Some people speculate it could be from another dimension, but I don't think we have the mathematics to just explain that or the physics just yet, or even possibly within the planet somewhere. None of this is known, and that's why we really need deliberate and expanded scientific research on these phenomena to understand that.
When you have a Navy Rear Admiral talking about this, I don't know how much more serious we can get, to be completely honest. I know there's some criticism about Tim and his beliefs and whatever. He's working with organizations who are trying to raise money for awareness of UAP. Fine. I get it. Like, that's totally fine to be critical. Again, I hit my mic. I apologize. It's totally fine to be critical of anyone trying to raise money for UAP organizations. But he makes it very clear that even in his time working in the Navy, that these things were happening, that the Navy had no protocol for it, that these things far exceeded the technology that U.S. submarines had or anything in the Navy at the time, and that people were told to be quiet and move on. And that's a problem. That's an issue. So as we are seeing, places like the Navy are expanding their protocol on how to report these things, at least Navy pilots. But what's going on underwater with fast walkers, these USOs that they're running into in submarines? We had Mark D'Antonio on the show, who was on a submarine, mind you, and a fast walker went by and they didn't know what to do when that happened. So, man, that's crazy. I see Disclosure Team is here. Hello, Vinny. Welcome, buddy. Really good to see you. We're actually going to see you, literally, your face in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that, guys. A special shout out to Vinny and all the guys over at UAP Media UK. I love you. I miss you. We will talk soon. And safe travels, buddy. If you really are on a Boeing, I hope that's not true. I'd rather take the Baltic Sea anomaly craft than a Boeing at this point. But yeah, this was a pretty cool story. And it actually reminds me of we had Paula Bontempi, who is a NASA oceanographer. We had her on the show days before or after the NASA UFO study came out, because she was a part of the NASA UAP study panel. She was their oceanographer for that, which was so cool. And I thank her immensely for coming on the show to talk all about the UAP study at NASA. And UFOs in the ocean. So I have a brief clip that I want to play for you guys from that past interview of Somewhere in the Skies, because it fascinated me and it actually ties in to this story. So I'm going to go ahead and play that clip for you. And yeah, we will finish out with USOs and move on to some more tantalizing stories, one of which Vinny from Disclosure Team has brought forward recently. So let's go ahead and give a watch and listen to Paula Bontempi, the NASA oceanographer. That's twice I've said NASA. Check this out.
But I was talking with a friend of mine who's also an optical oceanographer, right? So looking at the transmission of light under the ocean and what we can see in detail from space and things like that. And she and I were chatting, and I said, what if there are reports, UAP reports from under the ocean? And she goes, well, think about it this way. The ocean is a really big place, right? So if you integrate vertically, it's 96% of the available living space on our planet. And just at the surface, it covers 71% of the Earth's surface. And she goes, do you actually think that if there is a person or a craft that encounters a UAP under the ocean, that that's random? And I was like, I don't know. I never thought about it. And she goes, you don't think that would be intentional? And I was like, I don't know. I never thought about it. So it is funny to think about like how big the ocean on our earth is. And if people are encountering things and reporting them, let's say they're like a submarine pilot or something like that, right? And they see this odd thing. Would they report it? It's the same kind of stigma as it would be if an airline pilot saw something. So, but that begs the question, she's always said this, we've always talked about this, and I'm like, I don't know. I've never thought about whether, a chance encounter is really random or whether that's intentional by whatever's encountered. And it makes you a little like, that can't be, can it? And when I tell that story to other people, other scientists, some are just like, bah, you guys are so funny, and others are like, I don't know, it's a good question. Like, the ocean is a huge place. What would it take to have a random encounter in the ocean? Has anybody ever thought about that? I was like, I don't know. So
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of, I'm sure you think about this all the time, but for me, it was kind of mind blowing. I hadn't thought about our home planet like that,
There you go, guys. I love that clip. Like, thinking how vast the ocean is. I mean, she explained it way better than I'm about to. And what is the chance that a fast walker would come into contact with a submarine? Astronomical, probably. So the fact that someone like Mark D'Antonio, who happened to be on a sub, and they encountered one of these things, the statistics on that alone are probably mind-boggling. So maybe whatever these things are in the ocean, including the Baltic Sea anomaly, we're seeing them. We're finding them for a reason. The Tic Tac, that thing came out of the water, allegedly. Came into contact with several Navy pilots, went to their cap point, which nobody else knew about except the damn pilots. If that doesn't send a clear message of intent and wanting to make some sort of contact, I don't know what does. So, I don't know. USOs have always fascinated me. I had my UFO sighting over a body of water, so maybe that's why. But I just think it's a huge untapped potential for finding answers to UFO and USO phenomena. So, yeah, I can't wait to see what comes next with NASA and their look into UFOs. Hopefully, we'll get more information on that soon. And maybe we'll get a follow-up from Paula Bontempi. I'll reach out to her and see if she's willing to come back on. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I do want to say hello to a few more new people in the chat. Jake is here. Hello to Doc, Doc Casper. He says, have you ever heard of Matu 5? I have not. I don't know what that is, but hello to you, and I'll look into it. Brooke to himself is here. I was obsessed with the Baltic Sea anomaly, but you think UFO news is slow. Phew, that was tough being a hardcore fan of. Yep. And hello to Do as well. Great show, Ryan. Thank you guys. Truly do appreciate those kind words. Yeah, so let's move on to our next story. UFOs. Dadgummit. Who we talking about, guys? I know this story isn't brand new, but I did want to cover it because we had a big gap in between live streams because we moved from Fridays to Sunday. So I know other shows have covered this, and a lot of people don't think there's anything to it, but it made some waves on the congressional floor, so we might as well cover it. And that is our, whether you like him or not, our UFO Congress daddy. And that is Tim Burchett. I can't believe I said that. Wow. Our representative out of Tennessee. And Tim Burchett, on May 23rd at a House Oversight Committee hearing, he questioned Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm about UAP sightings. So I have the clip. We're going to watch it. And look, I don't agree with probably a single value, principle, or policy that this man has in any way, shape, or form. I'm just being upfront with you guys. I don't want to get political, but this man and I could not be any more opposite when it comes to literally everything. But his anger and frustration with how the Department of Energy deals with UFOs and their lack of transparency when it comes to the topic, it's been around forever and it's never gotten better. Whereas other, the Defense Department, the Navy, the whatever, the Air Force are slowly catching up and maybe being a bit more transparent. DOE ain't ever going to do it. Just not going to do it. And he's pissed, and I don't blame him. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. And then we'll wrap up with our last story of the night, guys. So go ahead and watch this clip with Tim Burchett and the secretary from the Department of Energy. And I want to make sure I get her name right. That is Jennifer Granholm. Watch this.
What is the responsibility of the Federal Protective Services within the Nuclear Security Administration?
Are you talking about transporting fuels?
No, ma'am. The numerous reports by the Federal Protective Services officers describing suspicious occurrences of UAPs over nuclear facilities.
Oh. Let me just say, the Defense Department has said there is no evidence of UFOs, et cetera, or aliens in the United States. However, at those sites, there may be drones that may be nefarious. And so we are definitely looking at that and making sure that our national security sites are protected. We have a whole program related to countering drones that may be coming from
Well, this isn't about drones, and this is prior to drones even. What protocols does the Department of Energy have for reporting and responding to any UAP sightings near nuclear infrastructure? And people joke about this, but I get a lot of questions about this concerning this and about this hearing today from my constituents, so I would appreciate you answering that if there are any protocols.
Well, certainly there are protocols whenever we see anything unusual around our nuclear sites or our national security sites writ large.
I really wished we had a little more time, and I wish you would show up when we ask you to. I think that shows a lot of arrogance. You all should be ashamed, I think, for your lack of accountability to Congress by not showing up when you're asked. And we had to threaten you with a subpoena just to get y'all here. So I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Ouch. Can you smell the smoke, guys? He burned her. I mean, they had to subpoena them, the Department of Energy, to show up. Insane. And the fact that she said, well, the Department of Defense said there's no aliens, not the question, not what he said at all. So why even go there? To downplay the questions being asked of you in that moment? Yeah, that's really the only reason. I just think it was ridiculous. Good questions. That is probably the only positive thing I'm going to ever say about Tim Burchett. That the Department of Energy believes they are invincible. And you know what? At the end of the day, maybe they are in the grand scheme of things when it comes to all of this. They are both protecting us from nuclear destruction, hopefully, and also helping us with nuclear energy and power. I don't know what their entire job is, to be honest, so I might be speaking out of turn. But look, we're not talking drones, like he said. I did an entire episode on the Tehran UFO. I did a massive article on it. And these things have been going on over nuclear sites and whatnot for a very, very long time. Way before drone technology. They were seen over nuclear installations even. So you can't tell me that there is one set protocol for all things seen over nuclear installations, especially if they are, quote unquote, turning on and turning off nuclear ordnance. or capabilities. So come on. So yeah, we'll see if there's any updates on this, but I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt we'll get anything from the DOE, but we'll see. With all the Schumer amendment stuff, which again, guilty, I am not all caught up on. I don't know what's going on with any of that stuff. Maybe the DOE will get more pressure to be more transparent if they so choose. Pine Cedar says Tim Burchett is awesome as a leader trying to drive transparency into the UFO topic. That's fine. If you view him that way, we're talking about him. He's a part of the UFO conversation. I cannot deny that. But that's all I'm going to say about Tim Burchett. Moving on, guys, to our last story of the night. Didn't think you'd see that face in a Somewhere in the Live Stream, did ya? But you are going to. But before we do that, I do want to say hello to James Craig, one of our regulars who's hopped back in. So a huge hello to James. Hello to Tim as well. Hell, brother Ryan. Love it, love it, love it. And let me see who else we have here. Carolina says of the DOE, she doesn't know what's going on and wasn't prepared for this. No, she wasn't. And that's because she was forced to go there, probably at the last minute because she was subpoenaed. So no preparation went into it, clearly, which is troubling to say the least. All right, let's move back to our last story of the night, guys. And this is about Rick Doty. Does the U.S. military orchestrate fake alien abductions? I applaud Vinny over at Disclosure Team for having Rick Doty on his show because I couldn't do it. I don't think I could make it through an interview with that man. I'm friends with him on Facebook. That's about as far as I go. I've spoken to him off the record several times. He's a nice guy. There is no denying that. But his literal job is disinformation. So what you take from anything he says is you got to take it with a grain of salt. And that's what Vinny does. Vinny, let him come on and talk his talk. But will he walk his walk? Is anything he says true? Only time will truly tell. So shout out to Vinny. And we are going to play a little bit of a clip from one of Vinny's Disclosure Team episodes somewhat recently where we talk. Bad boy Doty. I love it, Carolina. He really is. He is the black sheep of ufology, if there ever was one. Let's see. In an interview with Vinny over at Disclosure Team, former U.S. Air Force OSI agent Rick Doty discusses his involvement in counterintelligence and disinformation operations related to UFOs, primarily that of the famous or infamous Paul Benowitz affair. If you haven't, guys, I cannot recommend it enough. Read the book Project Beta by Greg Bishop. I'm just going to say it's my favorite UFO book ever. Ever. Go read it, and you'll learn more about what this man Rick Doty did and was a part of when it came to disinformation and UFOs and this man Paul Benowitz. But let's move to alien abductions. And is the U.S. Air Force or military faking them? Let's listen and watch the clip first. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're seeing two images here next to Doty. And these are two images that I pulled from the famous X-Files episode, Jose Chung's From Outer Space, my all-time favorite episode. I'm sure it is of many of you as well. It is the pinnacle of X-Files. Let's be completely honest. It is the greatest hits of ufology, all crammed into one episode. But you're seeing an image at the top there of basically 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 gray aliens in front of a quote-unquote alien abductee. We're seeing these images from her point of view, the abductee. And then below the image is 1, 2, 3, 4 military people. And this has to do with the possibility that are some of these abductions the work of the military? And if they are, why? So let's go ahead and watch this clip from Disclosure Team. I'm going to preface it though, because I do want to make sure I do that here. Disclosure Team says it was originally recorded in 2022. I released it recently as it had some poignant points that seemed relevant to the recent direction of the conversation. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out, Disclosure Team. Vinny, I really do appreciate that, man. So keep that in mind, guys, as we watch this clip. But no matter the case, I do find it very fascinating. Here we go.
Why has the military or whoever did fake alien abductions? What was the point of doing that?
Probably my weakest area is abductions. I know we investigated them. I investigated some abductions. I don't know about any actual United States government abductions.
So no MyLabs or anything like that?
Let me say this. There were some specific operations that occurred to protect other projects. And I'll give you an example, okay? There was an Air Force major who had access to a program and highly classified. And he started to disclose it to somebody that shouldn't know about it. So we faked an abduction of the person that he was giving the information to throw her, it was a female, throw her off. That's the only fake abduction that I ever knew about within the government. Now, there may have been others. You got to understand there's other agencies working this. The 7602nd Air Intelligence Squadron at Wright-Patterson, or at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, the real men in black did some things that I never had access to. So it could have happened, but I only knew of one instance, and I told you that.
Huh. I don't know what to make of that. Yeah, exactly. My words exactly. One of the images that really sticks out to me from Project Beta, the book, is when Paul Benowitz was in one of those small, either a helicopter or like a Piper plane with Rick Doty. And they're going over a mountain range, and Doty is showing Benowitz a crash site, a UFO crash site, and pointing out to him, this is the craft, this is the retrieval team, this is what they're doing right now. There's an impending invasion. These things are landing and crashing everywhere. You were right, Paul. You were right all along. Thank you for letting the Air Force know. We're on top of it. And if you find anything else, let us know. Let us know. Come to find out, this was all staged. It was all planned to help this man, Paul Benowitz, truly believe an alien invasion was occurring and that he was in the know, and the Air Force was walking him through all of this. Little did he know this is all a huge disinformation campaign to drive him away from what he was actually discovering out there, and that was espionage work and top secret projects going on. So they were literally trying to drive this guy crazy to think that UFOs were alien in origin and that there was an invasion occurring. Drove the guy to suicide, right? All work, low play? No, that is a huge misconception by many that they drove him insane and made him kill himself. I don't know the whole story, but I know that is not it. So I'll have to look into that. I don't know the actual explanation as to what happened to Doty, to Paul Benowitz. I know what Doty's doing. He's up on my Facebook right now, being like, "Why are you showing this? This is from 2022." Anyways, yeah. So fascinating. Again, kudos to Vinny for this interview. I don't know how he made it through the whole thing. I would have been livid by the end of it, but interesting nonetheless. Are my labs real? is the military faking alien abductions? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows, truly. But if I'm going to be honest, it kind of makes sense. If they're doing stuff like faking and staging UFO crashes, why wouldn't they fake abductions? For what purpose? I don't know. I don't have like an answer for that. But look, stranger things have happened. A lot of people, including Nick Redfern, the UFO researcher, believe that things like the Rendlesham Forest incident or even the Pascagoula UFO close encounter were experiments, whether with holograms, a la the Rendlesham incident, testing holographic technology back in the 1980s and projecting these images of a UFO landing in the forest, or with the Pascagoula thing, I believe that Nick Redfern wrote that he believes it was a LSD experiment and literally made these guys trip balls and think they were like seeing these lobster clawed aliens that brought them up on a spacecraft and experimented on them. Not to make light of any of these situations, guys. These are just theories, very controversial theories brought forward by Nick Redfern, but we have to be open to all possibilities. So, what could be the true motivation behind faking an alien abduction? Let me know in the comments, both under the video or in the live chat. I'd love to know what you guys think. But before we do that, I'm going to go over to our poll that we did on the video. So give me 1 sec. I have to actually pull up YouTube myself here because I am not directly on YouTube like you are. Let's check out the poll here. Oh, no, I got rid of it. Oops. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I said, do you believe that the U.S. military fakes alien abductions to protect classified information? And out of 96 votes, 41% of you, the majority said maybe, 34% of you said yes, 22% of you said no, and 1% of you said, I don't care. So do you believe the U.S. military fakes alien abductions? I'm kind of with you guys. I'm really on the fence. Maybe, and it's a case-to-case basis. So, yeah. I thought that would be an interesting question to ask of you guys as we headed into this last story. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is go into our starred stuff here. And this is your last chance if you want to ask any questions before we start to wrap things up. You can either throw them in a super chat where I will see them immediately, and that goes to help support the show, or put them in capital letters with a Q in front of it, and Suzanne and I will star those, and we will get to those as well. Let me see here. Tets says, Rick is waiting on me making a project on a theory I have on UFOs in Ireland. He is amazing and a great help to us all. I look forward to whatever that is, Tets. Hey, I'm all for UFO projects. The more the merrier. So all I'll say is, you know the history of Rick Doty. If you trust him, that's on you. But I'm sure you've done your work and your research. So good luck. Good luck with the project. And we eagerly await what that might be and what results it yields. So thank you. Thank you. James says, now I have to go back and watch that X-Files episode. Please do. It's so good. Like, I watch it at least once a month. It's like my palate cleanser in the UFO world. It reminds me of how utterly ridiculous, cool, scary, sad, beautiful, real, fake, all of this is. All of it. So, yeah, go watch Jose Chung's From Outer Space, Season 3, Episode 20 of the X-Files. I can't believe I know that by heart. That shows you how much I love it, guys. I have a t-shirt, too, of Jose Chung's From Outer Space, the book that's featured in the episode. It's a fake book written by Jose Chung. But I got a t-shirt with the book cover. I love it. It's here somewhere. Maybe I'll wear it next week. All right. Ian says, hi, Ryan, can you do a show about the Black Pyramid in the Arctic? Interesting, Ian. I'll have to look into that. Maybe we'll feature it in our news section. If you have any information on that, please send it my way and I will, I'll look into it for sure. always looking for UFO news, guys. So if you come across anything throughout the week, shoot me a DM on Twitter, Instagram, through email. I'm available any and everywhere in the Somewhere in the Skies Facebook group. And yeah, post that stuff and we'll bring it up on the show for sure. Android asks, Ryan, do you have any info why Elizondo, Nell, Mellon, and others would create a non-profit when New Paradigm already exists? What is that? What is their group? I'm not aware. I haven't been keeping up with any of that, to be completely honest. What is the organization? What is it for? I would like to know. Is it connected to the stuff that like Gary Nolan's doing or Avi Loeb, or is this completely separate? Some clarification would be much appreciated, but I fear I might not have any insight on it, unfortunately. Carolina says, I mean, good old Greer harps on this, that yes, they do this. Not saying I'm about Greer, so take that for what it is. She is clearly referring to the fake alien abduction thing. So yeah, he is all about the false flag alien invasion narrative. That's for sure. For sure, Carolina. Let's see here. And I did want to get to a very nice message at the top of the show that I missed, guys. And that's from Ian. He said, Ryan, so sorry for the loss of your mom. Our thoughts and love are with you in this very sad time. Kindest regards, Ian and family. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. If you are new to the show, yes, I lost my mother about a month ago now. That's why I'm here in my hometown for the next month or so with my family. She was such a beautiful, kind soul, so supportive of all of my work in the UFO field and abroad. And man, hopefully she's getting the answers that we all seek in life here somewhere in the skies. So my love to you, Ian, and your family. Thank you so much for the condolences. And my love to my mother, Sue Sprague, who I know would be watching with us tonight and might be. She might be. So thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm going to check the chat one more time, guys. If you have any more questions, all questions in caps, please. Thank you, Suzanne. I do see one right here. I missed it. Where'd it go? Eric says, why did you vanish for so long? Was it the new TV show? I was about to become a subject of unsolved mysteries, right? Eric, had to take a extended break from everything. Not just UFOs, but life in general. Yes, I was working on a TV project that was called Haunted. It's a ghost hunting show that I am a part of. I talked about that in last week's episode, so go back and check that live stream. Talked all about it. But also a lot was going on with my family in terms of my mother and stuff like that, and in my personal life as well. Whether it's health or just situations in general. I just had to take a break from everything. It was really one of those stop the world, I want to get off things. And you just need that sometimes. We all need breathers in life. And that was the time for mine. But I'm back and I'm excited to be here. And clearly you guys are too. The live viewing of these live streams has been overwhelming. So thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I'm glad to be back. And I'm just so happy and appreciative that you are back with me and that you are enjoying these. So thank you. Thank you for that question. Let's see if I have anything else here. Cool. I think that's going to do it, guys. In terms of questions and news, let's see here if I have anything else for you. Oh, yes, I do. Some news on some stuff that I have done. I just came out with a brand new article over on my Medium page, and I hope you will check it out. This article is titled, I Am Injured Cold, the Woodrow Derenberger UFO Encounter. So if you guys are not familiar with this case, you will be after you read my article. It's a fascinating case and just a big part of UFO lore and Americana. So I hope you will go over to my Medium page and check that out. There is a direct link in the show notes, and Susanna's put it up for you guys as well. Just click that, and you should be able to go over and read the article. Please give it a share, a like, or I think you clap on Medium, you'll see a little clap icon under the article, and I think you can clap up to 50 times or something. I don't know what that does, if it does anything, but yeah, give it 50 claps and a share, and that's all I could ever ask of you guys. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the Woodrow Derenberger UFO encounter. This is awesome. So, if any of you live anywhere near Canton, Ohio, or Ohio in general, or anywhere in the area, I hope you will join me June 28th and 29th, excuse me, for the Small Town Monsters Monster Fest 2. I will be there doing podcast recordings, and I'll be taking part in panel discussions. I'll be signing books and all that good stuff. So I hope you will join us at Monster Fest 2. It's such an incredible event. So if you guys aren't familiar with Small Town Monsters, they are a incredible independent film and book and documentary company who focus on cryptids, ghosts, UFOs all around America and even the world at this point. And they put on these awesome events. They're going to be doing screenings, guest speakers, live podcasts, and yeah, it's an awesome event. If you have kids that are 12 and under, they get in for free, and it's cheap, guys. To begin with, when we're talking conferences, this is probably one of the cheapest ones you're ever going to see, with an awesome lineup of speakers and special guests showing up. Jim Harold is going to be there, Shannon LeGros, the boys over at Astonishing Legends, and so many more. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of them, and I hope I will see you at Monster Fest 2 happening June 28th and 29th. Suzanne has once again, she's on top of it. She's put a link for you guys up on the screen. So go ahead and check that out if you are in the Ohio area. And I would love to meet you. I would absolutely love to meet you. Hello to Douglas Sprague, who is in the chat. You guys got to see the man, the myth, the legend last week. So if you haven't watched last week's live stream, Doug Sprague popped in for a little bit, and I will be sure to get him on again in the near future to answer your burning listener questions about his weird son and his weird interests. That's for damn sure. But I've taken over his man cave, as you can see here, guys. I hope you like it. I am sprucing it up a little bit. I don't know what he thinks about it. But yeah, this was so much fun, guys. We're going a little over an hour 15. So I'm going to wrap this up with you. I think that's it. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review Somewhere in the Skies, wherever you get podcasts. Oh, and speaking of which, this is pretty cool. This is a prime example of you never know who's watching and who's listening to these things. You know, I'm in this room right now, and it sounds like I'm talking to myself, and I can see Suzanne's beautiful face down here as she's moderating, but and I see you guys, your icons and all that, but we never truly know how many people are out there as podcasters listening, watching, listening, subscribing, all that good stuff. And I had two experiences this week that really just warmed my heart. One of which, I was on my way home from Friday Night SmackDown, which is a WWE wrestling event. I went with Doug Sprague yesterday, and we were on our way back from Albany, New York, driving. And I got a voice message from my co-host of my other podcast. Let me pull that up here for you guys, actually. And that is Somewhere in the Ring, my wrestling podcast. And Andrew left me a voice message that said, "Hey, I had a movie screening tonight." Andrew is a film writer, and he wrote a short film that had a premiere in New York City last night. He was going to go to SmackDown with me, but he had a damn good reason. He had a film premiering. So congratulations to him. That being said, a woman came up to him after the film and shook his hand and congratulated him. She said she loved the movie. And then she said, "I know you're the co-host with Ryan Sprague on a wrestling podcast, but I just wanted to let you know that I am a huge fan of Somewhere in the Skies. And I've seen you she was speaking to Andrew. I've seen you on his live streams, and I know you've been a guest on the podcast. So please give him my best and tell him that I'm one of his biggest fans. And I just like, I'm in the car with my dad. We just got out of a WWE event, a great bonding experience, super fun, emotional. I love doing it. And then I get this amazing message saying that I have a fan who just randomly showed up to a film screening in New York City to talk to my co-host. So that was just incredible. So thank you. Doug Sprague says, what did you do to my man cave? I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. It's just going to get worse. Trust me. So yeah. And the second one I wanted to bring up was Suzanne. Our moderator told me that she recently came across Suzanne, you are much better at explaining this, so maybe put it in the chat, the full story, if you don't mind. But she met somebody who watches the live streams, who listens to Somewhere in the Skies. So she's going to go ahead and put the more specific story in the chat. But she told me this today, like right before we went on air. And again, it like almost brought a tear to my eye hearing this, because you don't know. You just don't know how many people out there you're reaching or you're influencing, or it's just incredible. Like, I'm sitting here blabbing about stuff I know nothing about, that none of us truly know anything about, but we're trying. We're trying to find answers. Suzanne says, here we go. My neighbor in Santa Fe was in Kansas City, and he was checking out at a store, and the subject of UFOs came up. ... And I'm assuming Suzanne, there it is. Oh, she's on it. The clerk then told my friend, hey, if you're into that, you should watch this guy, Ryan Sprague, and his podcast, Somewhere in the Skies. There it is. Could not ask for more than that. So thank you, Suzanne, for sharing that with us and with me. So yeah, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart to every one of you who's ever listened to Somewhere in the Skies, watched Somewhere in the live stream, or I hope will subscribe to Somewhere in the Ring, my brand new wrestling podcast. If every one of you right now literally went over to the YouTube channel of Somewhere in the Ring and subscribed, that would help me immensely. You don't even have to like wrestling. The show is to convince you to like wrestling, but you don't have to. We're trying to ease you into the ridiculous world of professional wrestling, kind of like I had to ease you guys into the ridiculous world of UFOs. So we're kind of starting over with wrestling. So please head on over to the Somewhere in the Ring YouTube channel, click that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and check out the show. You will not be disappointed. It's so much fun. It's just a good time. It's just a good time. So I hope you will check that out. Good to be back with all you fellow sisters. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And there's the link for the YouTube channel. Thank you, Suzanne. Check the start stuff one more time. We are clear. We're clear, guys. That is it. So I am going to say good night to all of you. A special thank you again to Suzanne. A special thank you to our super stickers, our super chats, and everyone who contributed their thoughts and theories and opinions tonight. I truly do value those and appreciate you guys checking out the show. Once again, there is a PayPal QR code there. If you want to help out the show, you can do it that way, or just head on over to patreon.com/somewhere in the skies. And you can help support us over there as well. If you can't help us monetarily, a simple like, subscribe, share, download is all we could ever ask of you guys. So with that, I will see you here next Sunday for another episode of Somewhere in the Live Stream. And look for a brand new episode of the Somewhere in the Skies podcast coming to you this Monday as well. And yeah, it's going to do it, guys. So as always, I will leave you with our mantra here. And that is, keep your feet on the ground, but never stop searching somewhere in the skies. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide at all.